But let's get started. I'm Sean Guerrero. I have one of my really good friends, Ida Bear, here with me right now. And she is going to be helping us with getting to know 5 tips that you can use if you are going to be looking at homes on Zillow. And the reason why I brought Ida in is Ida is hands down, numbers don't lie. She is one of the best in the business when it comes to real estate in Kitsap County. She helped over 92 families buy and sell real estate last year. And here's the thing, she has a husband who also does real estate. So them together, just experts. And she gets a ton of her business using Facebook. She also, though, uses Zillow. And who better else to bring than one of the top agents in the county to help us understand what's going on with all this COVID-19 and what we got to know about buying and selling homes right now. So Ida, thank you. Thank you for hanging out with
me. And thank you, Sean. You're a great asset to our community, and you've helped so many families, and I'm just fortunate to know you.
Oh, thank you. Well, let's go ahead and get started. So we know that there's some new rules to the game now, and you and I were talking a little bit offline. What is the first thing? If somebody's on Zillow or any of those platforms and they're looking at homes, what do they need to know when they're in the process of searching for a home?
I think if the agent is saying that, we're going to be cautious, I think it's just the timing of when you be looking at homes. There's certainly the ability to look virtually, which I know isn't everybody's cup of tea. But you can go and look at homes, but I would be cognizant of your timing. If you need a home in the next 30 to 45 days, then you really do need to probably get out and look at homes if you're not looking for a virtual. And you can do that with your agent. If the agent is, willing to do that, it's just going to take a little bit more time for a tour that would normally take 15 minutes. If you're going to have more than one person in your party, you just need to know that your agent's only allowed to take one person into the property at a time. So everybody else stays in the car, and then you switch out. And I've done it a number of times now.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the standard practice. One person in the house at a time. And I think it's also important to bring out that Zillow has actually come out with a report, and they've said that their virtual tours are up 190% year over year. So you think about that, 190%. Let's just say, 100,000 people are sitting there and, they're doing that. That's so much volume that's going through their platform, looking at homes on a day-to-day basis. That's crazy to me. And are you seeing that? Are you seeing people saying, I did the virtual tour first before they got to the house?
Yeah, I mean, I had it myself this week. I previewed 3 properties for a client and tried to get a better understanding of their needs. I sent them the virtual tours, and we ended up going out to physically visit 2 properties. Some listing agents are also posting virtual tours, and Zillow has that function, but unfortunately they're limited in time. It's 2 minutes. And so it may not focus on the details that your client wants. Me personally, I take probably a 20-minute video.
Oh, really?
I do. And because I'm acting as if they're with me. So the tour is almost as if they're there. I'm going to start from the street and talk about the neighborhood and talk about what I'm seeing at the house, the exterior conditions, and then I'll focus on each room, give it maybe a minute for each room so I can talk about dimensions and condition. And if they told me they have a baby grand piano, I'm going to say, okay, this room won't fit it or it will fit it. And then once they see the videos, then they'll have the opportunity to say, okay, maybe let's go out this weekend and see, this one or that one or what have you.
So let's unpack that just for one moment, because that was really awesome and it gives great insight into your business. I know just from you and me meeting and working together, a lot of your business is referral, and a lot of your business is with veterans. And you think about those ones who are PCSing from different posts. What you just said is beyond valuable, especially if you are PCSing or you're a real estate agent looking to expand their footprint. What you're doing with those virtual tours is you are putting yourself in their shoes. So if they do have a baby grand piano, you're sitting there thinking, I'm not just going to do the minimum Zillow 2-minute only virtual tour. I'm actually going to take 20 minutes and go through it because I'm previewing the properties first and letting know. Did I get all of that right?
Yeah, that makes sense. And this has been a big part of my practice. As you know and said, I work a lot with military families PCSing to the area, and frankly, most of them can't come for house hunting leave, and now it's almost impossible. Last year, I sold 28 homes to families sight unseen. They didn't step foot in their home until the day they arrived.
Oh my goodness! So they're trusting you to be their eyes, right? Like,
yeah,
that's happening. So I guess first and foremost, your number one tip is take the virtual tour. All right. Second is be cognizant of what the new safety standards are. And that would be, look, only one person in the house at a time. Okay.
Yep.
And then also from the communication aspect, ask your real estate agent, your realtor, if they have access to more than just the minimum virtual tour. Because a lot of times they're previewing those properties if they're an expert like yourself.
Yeah. And this is grapevine news, but I've had some agents say they were surprised to see other agents out without protective gear and taking an entire group of people into the house. And it may be that those agents aren't getting the news from the MLS or from the governor. And I say, be a smart participant and say to my agent, I understand this is the rules. We get an update every day from the MLS that says, have there been any changes? Making sure your agent is also informed. It sounds silly, but sometimes you have to manage up.
Okay. So if we go back to that number 2, just being aware of what the rules are, and a lot of those rules are coming down, not just from your brokerage. I know you're with Windermere, a fantastic company, and they are always in the know. I mean, those guys are leaders when it comes to that. I would say also, the MLS is keeping you guys, the multiple listing services, keeping you up to speed on the do's, don'ts of what you should be doing out there. So that PPE, that personal protective equipment, what do you recommend that somebody brings if they're going to be going on a home tour?
Yeah, I provide for my clients booties, of course, but I have asked my clients to please bring gloves. And even if they don't have the normal protective gloves, maybe they have a pair of winter gloves. I find it helps them not to touch their face, and certainly hand sanitizer, those sorts of things. If somebody wants to wear a mask, I really encourage it. I'm not wearing a mask myself. I'm doing social distancing. I'm doing really good at that. But I encourage them to bring that. And then me personally, I'm going ahead of them to the house to wipe down handles and unlock cupboards and opening them up so that they have minimal need to touch anything.
Right. So I have a good friend of mine, Chef James Allen, who was a chef out on Bainbridge Island for a long time. He's now down in the Los Angeles area. His family's actually PCSing this summer. He's watching right now. So James, I need you to listen to Ida. So when you come up here, man, and you're looking for that house, because I know you're going to use that VA loan and you're going to get that house, make sure you got gloves, make sure you got booties, make sure you got a mask, and use the virtual tour. I've got to help him out. Our sons play football together. That's my guy. I know he's watching.
Nice.
I know he's watching. So I see you, man. And just to your point, I mean, these are things that everybody should have. But I mean, if you're going to walk through somebody's house, you don't know the house. And also to protect you as their professional, you don't want them to get anything, and they don't want you to get anything,
100%.
vice versa. This is the right thing to do. So if you have that personal protection equipment, that's great. Have that communication with the real estate professional that you're going to be seeing the house with. And if they don't have it, make sure you come prepared at the very least.
100%.
Right. So then after that, we talked about asking them if having the client ask their agent if they've already previewed that property or if they have a virtual tour. I mean, do you have any tips on that? Like, is there anything that people should be aware of? Or, I mean, is it just asking the question?
I think that, again, the client kind of has to manage up because we don't know everything that's important. So just making sure that you advise, the agent that's previewing it for you, what your specific needs are. If there is a king size bed or a baby grand piano or aquarium or something unusual, because it's one thing to walk through and say, here's the house and the living room and what you're looking at, but it's another to address the fact that, this dining room will hold a 12-person table and a huge buffet. That just doesn't translate well in video. And again, I'll walk off of a room, and say, okay, I think this is approximately 12 by 12. But really informing your agent what it is that you have that would be important for them to point out in a virtual tour.
I see. Okay. So managing up and making sure that your real estate professional, your agent, your realtor knows the specific needs for the home. So if you're dirt biking and you really need extra garage space, not just a regular garage space, then you got to let them know so that they can preview and make sure that that stuff's going to fit. If you are needing a home office to have a backdrop because you need to stay safe, that's got to be there. Cell phone coverage, I heard, is a big one. I actually heard a client the other day talk to me about a water bed. I was like, we still have those water beds? No way.
Not
There's
possible.
still a thing. There's still a thing.
No.
I don't know why. Yes, still a thing. I was like, wow, okay, we'll just go with it. The water bed it is. And they were not giving up that water bed. I was like, all right, I'll get your earnest money back. Maybe we can go down. Costco's running a sale. They said, no, water bed stay. I was like, hey, everybody.
That's awesome.
All right, so now that we have that, let's talk about brass tacks money saving tips. When you're watching people utilize the Zillow app to reach out and contact you, are there any mistakes that's costing people more money than you think they should?
Oh my goodness, I can't think about that one. I think that's a brainstorm. I have to think about that.
Yeah,
this estimate, I think that, I'm just going to talk about this estimate. I love Zillow.
That's what I was going towards.
Yeah,
I saw your post the other day about what you trust more than the estimate. And I thought
that was apropos for what everybody's doing at home.
Right. I wasn't going to say it and just put it out there. I was going to just tee that one up for you. I thought we'll put a picture of the post in the comments or something. Okay, but it was funny.
It's a good one. No, this is what I would say. First of all, I'm going to say I'm a huge fan of Zillow. I have been for a long while. And Trulia, I know they're kind of partners or parents now or whatever, but they belong together. And I know a lot of people feel differently than me. But what I love about Zillow is that there is a lot of good information there and the historic data is there. And so I think it, again, arms the buyer a little bit to understand the history of the property.
Yes.
The Zestimate, they even say it in their little fine print. It's as much as 20% off. So that can be a huge, challenge for either a seller or a buyer. When they're looking, they're saying, well, the Zestimate is only this. Your agent, your really good agent, is going to perform for you what's called a market analysis or a CMA or a broker's pricing opinion, a BPO. And that is what you need to trust. And again, manage up. You should ask where they get the data from and what's their methodology. I have a very specific methodology. I'm very good at getting in the fair range.
Yes, you are a numbers gal and a detail gal. I will 100% look at that. I would just to dive a little bit deeper on there. I want to give people perspective. Yeah. So the median home price in Kitsap County, so as a whole, is around $409,752. Okay, not that I'm a numbers guy either.
Whatever.
But That being said, if that Zestimate was 80,000, or I'm sorry, 20% one way or the other, that's upwards of $80,000
Yeah, that's
worth
a
of,
hit.
give or take.
Yep.
$80,000, I mean, you're probably looking at, a couple $100 easily on your mortgage payment. So definitely talk to your agent, follow those tips that Ida has, and keep that in mind, that Zestimate, it's more like a guideline. It's not the rule. All
No,
right.
it isn't the rule.
Facts, figures, numbers, specifics, because those are the things you want to take into account, because you can actually adjust the price of your Zestimate if you're a seller up or down based on going into your particular home profile on Zillow and add things. Or if it's a home that has been updated, like let's say it's something in either the Paulsville or Manette area where the homes might be a little bit older, but somebody has taken not only really good care of it, but done a ton of renovations to it, that data doesn't always translate over. So I know that I've done it. You look on Zillow and it's like, really? You're asking $440,000 for that house? Zillow says it's only worth $360.
Yeah.
What you don't know is they put in the granite countertops. They have it fully redone. They did an add-on. There's all these great details that your professional who is linked in with the MLS, who's actually had the conversation with the listing agent and may have actually viewed that property. Your local expert has viewed that property in advance. You can't put a number on how valuable that is. I mean, you could. It's probably like $80,000. But I mean, you want to be an expert. Let's just say that you want to work with an expert.
No, Zillow
So
never
that's probably
put into your home, so you can't trust what they believe, because it's just an algorithm that they use. And again, I think you said it's a guideline. If the house is updated, they don't know. You see old house on Zillow. So yeah, you trust your agent. You need to make sure they have a methodology to help you find what the range is. And there's no MSRP for houses. I think that's also something to note. Your agent is likely going to say, here is the likely range. And then I think the buyers, well informed, are going to find the value that they think it should be for them.
Right. And maybe that goes to our next point. And I think this is a tip that I've seen you and I just have back and forth conversation on, timing. Timing is so much. Right now, we are in a state where, they're encouraging everybody to stay at home. So with that being said, when you're making an offer, and it doesn't matter if I know we're going a little bit off the beaten path. It doesn't matter if you're working with somebody from Zillow or not. What are you thinking as far as timing and responding to these homes that are coming on the market?
Yeah, I think we're fortunate in our community to have the military. So we're very fortunate in so many ways because of that. But also that means that there are people that are going to be moving. It's not a choice. They are going to be moving here. So unlike maybe other markets where their eggs are in different baskets and they're really relying on the dining sector or the retail sector, here we have the military, and so we are still a very strong market. I looked just yesterday at like how many homes had gone under contract in the last 7 days, and more than 3/4 of those have only been on the market 16 days or less. So it's still a very fast-paced market. And
yeah, so just because they're encouraging us to stay at home doesn't mean that that's discouraging from people from buying a home. So the
100%.
message is,
I'm
if you're
as
finding
busy as I've
something
ever
out
been.
there,
So that'll tell you. Yeah.
And you're talking to one of the top agents in the county. So if she's saying that she is as busy as she's ever been, please trust that this market is still just moving and progressing forward. And you have to remember, if you're in this, I would even say that Tacoma all the way through Kitsap area, if you're doing that, even up in Everett and Woodby Island, because of the military and medical fields, housing is going to maintain a very, very high demand. So if you are finding a house and you want to know what it looks like, or you do have a home and you're contemplating selling it, reaching out to an expert is the best way to get a head start on your competition.
100%.
That's going to happen. Yeah. All right. All right.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. And there's no too soon to plan. I would say also, you know, there's no too soon to get ready. So always a good idea to have all your ducks in a row for when the time is right, or the house that you want. You know, get your pre-approval, get pre-approved to underwriting. You know, then you're really locked and loaded, and there's no too soon to plan.
Yeah, and that's important because especially when you talk about getting pre-approved or getting approved through underwriting, there is going to be, and we're already seeing it in like the last week, I've personally seen it, and there's going to be a ton of changes, especially to those VA and FHA home loans, to the appraisal process. That's already happening. Just keeping that mindset of, look, this is kind of a moving target. We're not in a typical, you know, just state of doing business right now. That is not what's happening. This is not the norm. And you're going to have to pivot a little bit. But at the end of the day, if you're looking to own a home, getting through the process gives you such a greater chance of, one, getting your offer accepted, and two, being protected against those changes. Yeah. So again, being approved through underwriting is the way to go. It's commonly referenced as underwriting a TBD, to be determined property, and you can have your loan fully approved just without the appraisal or purchase and sale. So those are ways to win. You can actually make a more competitive offer as well, a shorter offer, maybe 15-day close, something along those lines. Yeah,
it gives you a real advantage because it is still competitive out there. It's just, I know it's hard for people to understand that, but it's still multiple offers, and in particular price points, of course, but it's never too soon to prepare.
All right, now I'm going to try to recap this off the top of my head because I haven't, I don't have my pen and paper. I should have had that, but I mean, I think we go number one, right? Our first thing that we had talked about was making sure that, you know, you are going through there and you are having the type of communication that you need to with each agent. So having that fast response time, if you are going out, which is number two, and you're looking at a property, personal protective equipment is essential. Number three, being very, very specific with your real estate agent. If you have any particulars, whether it's the size of the bed or, you know, a type of, you know, recreational activities, things that you need there. Definitely speed of an offer because the market is moving very, very rapidly. And also, I'm sorry, that was number five. Number four had to do with understanding that a Zestimate is more of a guideline, not the set rule. It's something that you can go ahead and just base things off of, but keep in mind that it has to do with a algorithm and it's not the final set price. So having that agent in your corner can really help you with that. All right?
Yeah.
Those are our 5 tips.
You did it.
Okay. I did. I was a little nervous. It's the ring light, you know, it just intensifies the heat. So you start to get nervous when you're live. So.
Boy, I don't see you ever nervous. You're very confident, and this was great. And I think that everybody that had a chance to participate and watch probably got a lot of good information.
Yeah, so this will be available. I'm going to have it up on my page, and I'm going to make sure that I put Ida's contact information in the comments. So if you have any questions, and especially moving to the area, she's a great resource to get in contact with, especially because of the detail that she takes with every showing, every listing. She's just incredible. So thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for everything. Yes, stay safe and stay energized. It can get a little tough right now, but definitely stay safe. All right.
Definitely. Back at you.
Thank you. Take care.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Bye.